What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and in this video I'd like to give a market update on the crypto space as a whole. There's some interesting things going on right now, you guys. There's some very, very bullish foreshadowings for the markets between now and the end of the year and even going into 2026, and even some controversial topics, but all of them are hot topics, things that you've probably heard of recently or will hear of soon enough. Maybe this will be the first time that you hear some of these things on this channel. So if that sounds good to you, hit the like button, subscribe, and let's get into it. Okay, let's talk about this stuff. The thing that I'd like to go over first would be this article here from Yahoo Finance. We're going to be referencing the charts here and there, but looking at this title here, talking about crypto stocks, ETFs, whatever, all ahead of CPI data and the China-U.S. meeting. There's a lot going on in this article. We're not going to read it all, but just the key takeaways here that it's saying right here. The U.S. CPI data could be the key catalyst for crypto bulls in the last week of October, and it could be. It's very possible. If CPI data comes out positive, which it did, then that could be a catalyst to send the price higher. There's a lot of other catalysts though besides just that, but today we are getting a little bit of a move up. I would assume that today's high price of 112.1K was probably on the report that the CPI data did come out better than expected. It was supposed to raise to 3.1%. That was the expectation, but we raised to 3% instead. Which is actually good, right? Whenever you fall short of that higher level of inflation, that actually is perceived as a good thing, and likely at the FOMC meeting, as far as Jerome Powell is concerned, that'll only reinforce his stance on cutting rates. Now, a lot of people might think, and I say a lot of people, I'm sure there's some people out there who think that a drop or a better report in the CPI than what was expected coming out would mean that Jerome Powell is going to cut interest rates more, right? Let's see. The bullish scenario could lead to favorable rate cuts, while bearish data could delay it, right? Favorable rate cuts are going to happen regardless, right? It doesn't matter if the CPI data came out worse than expected or if it came out slightly better. The rate cut is going to be a 25 basis point cut, like it was intended to be back in September. In September, Jerome Powell, or maybe it was it August? Whenever the Jackson Hole meetup was, Jerome Powell basically said they're going to be cutting by 25 basis points for the rest of the year. That's what's going to happen. Anybody holding out for a 50 basis point cut or 100 basis points, we're only going to be cutting at 25 basis points, and it's actually good. It's actually a good thing that the Fed is cutting rates slowly, because throughout history, whenever we see interest rates increasing or decreasing at a rapid pace, that typically promotes some volatility and a big drop in the markets. And why is that? Think about it logically, right? If the Fed's cutting rates slowly and methodically over time, that means they don't have to interject with the markets. They don't have to stabilize the economy. There's no need for intervention on their behalf. They can just shift slowly and gradually toward their monetary policy goals, without affecting the markets, or at least having minimum impact. Where if you see drastic rate cuts or drastic rate hikes in a very short amount of time, that means there is a necessity, a requirement of intervention on their behalf, which means that the markets are not stable. So the fact that we're getting a consistent 25 basis point cut month after month, that is a positive thing overall. Okay, and regardless of the fact that CPI data came out better than expected too is really good, because that's something that the Fed, that Jerome Powell has been announcing, has been a concern. Is that right now you're seeing inflation going up while seeing jobs coming down, right? The jobs market is weakening, and basically to stimulate the jobs market, they have to lower interest rates. But by lowering interest rates, they're going to increase the inflation. So the fact that the inflation data is coming out reporting lower than expected, that's positive too. That reinforces the idea that they will be cutting rates. So that's a positive thing. We should be pumping into this FOMC meeting, and I wouldn't be surprised if we did dump off after this. Now, there's kind of a two-part scenario to this line here, okay? Because there is another event going on besides the FOMC meeting, and that is China and Trump meeting, right? U.S. President and China President Xi and Trump, they're meeting. It's not just the U.S. and China; it's two world leaders meeting on the 30th. They're meeting on the 30th, and both of these leaders are in charge of countries that are huge investors in crypto, right? China hasn't always taken the most positive stance on crypto, but nevertheless, they are some of the larger investors in the world as far as countries go, right? They have a lot of crypto there. The United States has the largest amount of value that we know of, and crypto is pretty transparent. You can track it. The United States does have the most value invested in crypto as far as any other country is concerned that I'm aware of. But you've got two of these very large economies meeting and hopefully getting a trade deal that is beneficial, not detrimental, and we should be getting some positive results from that as well. I do expect a bit of a buy the hype, sell the news situation, right? We've got the FOMC meeting, good news coming out then. We've got the Trump-Xi meeting. They're expected to play nice and be good, so there should be some good news then. I wouldn't be surprised if we pumped into these news, right? That's why you say buy the hype and then you sell the news, because typically what we see is that the price will be priced in once the event happens. You hear all these positive things. Oh, all these positive things are happening. The market should move up right now. That's awesome. And then instantly after these positive things happen, you see the market correct. I doubt that we correct all the way back down here, but we probably see some correction to start off the month of November. And then we shake that off and we continue to rally. Because again, positive news, we might have it priced in early, so we might sell off because of that. The buy the hype, sell the news effect will take place. But overall, it's positive news, and it should provide a positive effect in the long term for crypto. We should see some continued growth afterwards. But again, the 29th we have the FOMC meeting. The 30th we have Xi and Trump meeting. I wouldn't be surprised if we pumped going into that, and then afterwards we might sell off, right? Because that might be a bigger event than just the Fed, the FOMC there. Moving on, talking about U.S. officials issue stunning statement about future of crypto. It's a new day. What was it? What was it that I was reading here? Oh yes, yeah. This is actually a big deal. This is really positive because what's going on is that you have Paul Atkins making it clear that crypto regulation is now the SEC's top priority, and not just the SEC, but also the CFTC, right? So our two agencies must work in lockstep, Atkins says. So, and I know the CFTC chair is also a pro-crypto person. They're very friendly. So you've got two people who are in charge of very large regulatory bodies in the United States, the CFTC and the SEC, whenever it comes to commodities, assets, securities, stocks, cryptos. Whenever it comes to this, they're going to be working together. And let's see, what did he say? He said something that Trump... It's a new day and the turf war is over. I love hearing stuff like that, right? What's he mean? He means back in the in the prior administration, there was an all-out war on crypto, man. There was a lot of the SEC was weaponized against crypto. This administration is not they're weaponizing the SEC and the CFTC against anyone who's fighting against crypto. Yeah, Atkins added that President Donald Trump had laid down the gauntlet with designs. This is exciting. Designs to finalize a market structure bill by year's end. You guys, a move that could reshape how crypto markets operate in the United States. This is crazy. This is crazy. There's been rumors, okay, and Trump himself started these rumors in the last, like the Bitcoin conference in 2024, talking about no tax on certain cryptos, no tax on United States made cryptos. What if there's no tax on United States cryptos in this market structure bill that they're talking about by the end of the year? What if there's no tax on cryptos that are in the United States strategic reserve? That means no Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Cardano, or XRP tax, right? What if it's just those five? What if it's the whole space? Regardless of what the tax situation might be, I'm assuming we're going to get some clarity here, and I really am, fingers crossed. I'm hoping that the market structure bill by the end of the year includes some kind of benefit from a capital gains tax perspective toward crypto participants. That'd be awesome, and we're going to see that by the end of the year, is what he's saying. So that could happen next month. It's probably going to happen in December, right? Trump knows how markets work more or less, and I think Paul Atkins does as well. It is Paul, right? That's his name. Yeah, Paul. I think timing is crucial, and I think everybody knows that December is a very big month, so we're probably going to see this come out in December. But I think it's the main real takeaway here. There's two things: is that we've got this. Hold on, wait. Atkins also asset tokenization. Pretty much endless potential. Yeah. Where is it? I don't know where it is. I just scrolled over it. But this here, yeah, it's a pretty big deal that we're going to have this market structure bill by the end of the year. And then it's also a really big deal. You guys, I can't tell you how bullish it is that we're in a reality right now where the CFTC and the SEC are working together to do things right by the American people as far as crypto regulations go. This is a really big deal. And I really do think that this might be the most bullish thing that we go over at all in this whole entire video. Like this is a really big deal. And again, this isn't something that's going to cause the price to pop off today, but this is something that will benefit crypto investors for decades to come. if they do it right, if this is a bill that lasts. And anyways, really cool, really cool there. Moving on to the bad boy of crypto here, talking about CZ, right? GOP senator denounces Trump's pardon of crypto billionaire CZ. First off, who cares? Get bent. Who cares? But let's just read this. I don't like this. The retiring North Carolina Republican told reporters, I'm sure they're happy they got a Republican to disagree or to denounce Trump's decision. He was convicted. He's not innocent. Yeah, that's what a pardon is. When you get convicted, you get pardoned. That's what you don't pardon somebody who's not convicted. That Biden tried to do that with a few people last administration. They're like, actually, these pardons, and it wasn't Biden that tried, right? It was the auto pen. It was whoever was in charge of the auto pen. They're like, actually, you can't pardon people who aren't convicted. So yes, yeah, he's not innocent. He was convicted. Absolutely, he was. But he was wrongfully convicted, you guys. You know, he was absolutely wrongfully convicted. You know that the federal judge in CZ's case, he even said that this was an unprecedented, or she, I don't know if it was a guy or girl, but said that it was an unprecedented circumstance, punishment that they gave, right? He said in his 30 years, I have it written down here, in his 30-year career, suggesting it was a more symbolic punishment than a proportionate justice. He literally stated that himself, that this was more of a symbolic. So this, why is it a big deal that CZ got pardoned, right? Why is it a big deal? Because this is a stamp of approval from America, from the United States of America. This is a stamp of approval that, hey, we're not going to bully you. We actually did bully you in the last administration. CZ went to jail. He was charged $4.2 billion and required to step down as CEO of Binance. All these punishments. Because why? Because he was in charge of the largest crypto exchange in the world, what is arguably a free market, right? And everybody's saying, "Oh, he was a money launderer. He was a money." No. Maybe there's money laundering going on in crypto. I wouldn't put it past any billionaire in crypto. Just like I wouldn't put it past any billionaire, millionaire, people even with $100,000. People money launder all the time with cash, predominantly more than crypto. But check this out, okay? Right? What is it here? Wolf of Wall Street, or the Wolf of All Street's here. I like this. Facts matter. Enjoy the community notes, Senator Warren. She posted on X. I'm pretty sure this is on X, or this might be on Blue Sky. I don't know what it is. CZ pleaded guilty to a criminal money laundering charge and was sentenced to prison. But then he financed Trump's stablecoin and lobbied for a pardon. Today he got it. If Congress does not step up to this kind of corruption, it owns it. First off, the corruption was going after CZ to begin with, right? Because CZ was convicted not for criminal money laundering. He was convicted. He did not plead guilty to that. He pled guilty for causing Binance to violate the Bank Secrecy Act, BSA, which they didn't, but they came after him anyways, by failing to implement an effective anti-money laundering program because they had one account of somebody laundering money by using Binance, right? And it wasn't anybody in Binance. It wasn't CZ himself. It's like if someone on Facebook was using it for nefarious purposes, whatever that might be, and then Mark Zuckerberg got attacked for it. That's what happened here, right? It wasn't fair. It really wasn't fair. And a lot of people I know, especially after the 10th of October, a lot of you out there don't like CZ, right? You don't like CZ, you don't like Binance. I believe that the 10th of October was a coordinated event by all the major exchanges. I don't believe that it was just CZ. Everybody's putting hate on CZ for some reason, but it's not. I don't think it's just him. Who knows who was actually in cahoots with all of this? But every major exchange going down at the same time, clearing out the most amount of longs that we've ever seen in history. That it's probably a coordinated event. I have no contestation of that thought at all. But the reason why this is a good thing that CZ is pardoned is because it's the same reason why it was a good thing that Ross Ulbricht was pardoned, you guys. Because CZ and Ross, what they have in common is they created effectively a free market where people can participate. And if you're from a country like the United States, you're not allowed to use Binance. If you're from a country that the regulations don't agree with that, Binance literally prevents you from using. This is why it was such BS. This is why it was an attack. You can't use Binance as an American citizen to this day, let alone in 2023. But our government went after a foreign company, right? It's an attack on crypto. This is why it's a big deal that he got pardoned, because this is the United States saying, hey, we made a mistake. We shouldn't be attacking innovation. We shouldn't be attacking the largest company in crypto and their CEO and condemning them. We shouldn't be doing this, right? That's not going to promote friendly business in the United States for crypto, right? We want to say, hey, you know what? Our bad. We shouldn't have stepped on your toes, right? Obviously, nobody wants money laundering. It's going to happen. Nobody wants crime to happen. It's going to happen. But more of that happens with the U.S. dollar than anything. And who is the largest proponent of the U.S. dollar? The United States government. And where's our sanctions or our, you know what I mean? It's and I'm a pro-American person. I love America. I love the United States. But I understand how things are. And regardless of your thoughts on CZ, it's a good thing. It is a good thing, and that might be a controversial thought here. It is a good thing that he got pardoned. This is again undoing the attack that the last administration had on crypto. This is setting things right. It really is. It 100% truly is. Um, moving on here. Moving on though. And again, look, she knows she's lying. Either that or she's just dumb. I don't think Elizabeth Warren's dumb. I think she says things that are blatant lies, and she knows that they're lies, and she knows how to raise her voice and charge people's emotions. I don't think she's a good person, and she's clearly not on the right side of history. She's clearly somebody's sock puppet, right? Somebody's got their pockets, or it's filling her pockets up. But this is a false claim. CZ did not plead guilty to money laundering. The count was on one charge of violating the Bank Secrecy Act. It was on one charge, and they charged him. But why? Why? Like what? Again, because one charge of violating the Bank Secrecy Act. But the thing is, that's an American act, right? That's an American law, and Binance made it to where you could not, if you were an American citizen, have an account with Binance unless you used a VPN and you had another passport or some other kind of identification that showed that you weren't a United States citizen. So they literally attacked them, even though Binance did try to prevent, to the best of their abilities, United States citizens from using. And then again, if it wasn't a United States citizen that was the one count of violating the Bank Secrecy Act, then why are we getting involved anyways? Again, we're just being bullies, and I think that this is setting things right. I really do think that it's setting things right. Let me see if I have any closing thoughts on this real quick. Let me see, because I wrote some notes down. Yeah, I don't know. The main thing that I think is interesting is that the judge that sentenced CZ said that literally the sentence was unprecedented in his 30-year career, suggesting it was more symbolic than it was a purport. It wasn't about justice. It was about a symbol, as in, hey, if you're gonna be a crypto mogul, you're gonna be somebody who's big in the space, you have to come to us. You got to bend down to us first. I don't care if you're not in our country, you have to comply with everything that we say, no matter if you're in our country, in our jurisdiction or not, or we will come after you. That's not good. You don't want that. You don't want that in a free market, right? You want free markets to be free. I think anybody investing in crypto wants free markets, and this is a step in the right direction. Centralized exchanges aren't necessarily the same thing as free markets, but it's a step in the right direction. Okay, that's all I'm trying to say. Moving on here, talking about JP Morgan. JP Morgan is about to allow clients to pledge Bitcoin and Ethereum as collateral. That's freaking huge. That means, you guys, why would they allow you to do that? Because they see the value in Bitcoin, they see the value in Ethereum. Loans, if you're getting collateral, you're offering collateral for Bitcoin or Ethereum for your loan. Loans are not a short-term thing. These are things that take years to pay off, which means that JP Morgan understands, like we all do, that crypto is a long-term play. So what? You use this as collateral versus your loan. Over time, it's going to benefit them more. You can use that. You can pay them off with interest, whatever. You can pay off the interest in Bitcoin or Ethereum, or you can pay it off in US dollars, and it will grow for them in time, right? If you default that crypto that you defaulted on, it's going to grow for them in time. It's going to make them more money than any kind of money that you loaned out and got defaulted on anyways. It's beneficial for them to allow something like this whenever the dollar is way more inflationary than either of these assets is or are. Let's see. The move is part of a broader trend of major financial institutions integrating. Yeah, if JP Morgan, you guys remember JP Morgan, Jamie Dimon? Jamie Dimon at one point said that any of his employees who mentioned crypto or traded crypto, they'd be fired, right? They had an all-out attack on crypto while simultaneously investing. They used to be Jamie Dimon used to talk about crypto like it was a pet rock, right? Like it was just this know-nothing nonsense kind of thing. And now they're accepting it as collateral, right? Or they're going to accept it as collateral. That's huge. That's huge. JP Morgan's one of the largest banks in the world, you guys. That is absolutely huge. Moving on and finishing off with, what the heck did I click on here? Oh yeah, I thought that this is just interesting here. Is that I didn't know this, but I think a lot of us know this at this point, or maybe you're becoming aware of it now. But the White House ballroom that's being built is being funded by, let's see, who is it? Let's see, where does it see? It's being funded by crypto basically. But why can't I find it here? White House says Zhao's pardon was Trump exercising. Yeah, yeah, absolutely it was. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, but Zhao's got deep ties to all kinds of cryptos, you guys. And this whole incident happened before. Like this is not. They're trying to make it something that it isn't, right? Um, let's see. I don't know where it is, but I'm pretty sure Garlinghouse. I think the Winklevoss twins. There's the ballroom is being funded with crypto. I thought that I saw it in this article. Maybe I just didn't see it here, but maybe I can look it up. Let's see. I'm just going to type in here ballroom crypto funding. Let's just type that in and just see. Ballroom was funded by Palantir and will be bugged with Palantir. Hey, I didn't know that, vodka. I didn't know that, but maybe it is. Let's see. Let's see. Multiple companies, including crypto, Apple put funding behind. So Apple also. What cryptos was it? I know Garlinghouse, and I want to say the Winklevoss twins are putting up money for it. Maybe CZ and Justin Sun are as well. I don't know, but I love this stuff. Let's see. I love X.com. Let's see. Apple, Amazon, Google, Meta, Microsoft, Comcast Corporation, Ripple, Coinbase. There we go. Those are the two companies. That's what it is. Are the Winklevoss Gemini not doing it either? I guess cost of the federal government zero. Yeah, yeah. It's all privately funded, right? They're using this. They use everything, man. They use anything that Trump does. It could be a good thing. What if this ballroom is actually a good thing? It looks beautiful and it's an improvement on the White House. The media just paints anything that he does bad. He could find the cure for cancer, and the media will paint it as, you know what, it's better to just have cancer. Like that's what they do. That's literally what they do. It's freaking crazy. But anyways, I've got nothing else, guys. I think that we've gone over a lot of interesting things, and again, the biggest thing being that the SEC and the CFTC are working together to create a market structure bill that will be out by the end of this year, okay, by the end of the year, and we should get a nice lift from that. I know that we're seeing a little bit of volatility right now in the markets, right, but I do expect that we're going to continue to grow. Bitcoin, altcoins, everything is going to continue to grow going into the end of this month and going into the end of the year. I don't believe that we're at the end of the cycle. If we look at this here, right, this is our total crypto market cap chart, the total chart dating back to 2014. We haven't seen anything that resembles a end of cycle move at all, right? Like this I'll tell you what, guys, if we start to decay from here, that's a real problem. If we don't get this, because that could imply then that we have a double top overall and that the market will go below this low. That would be catastrophically terrible. And not that that can't happen, but with all this consolidating up here, a quarter of a year consolidating, just moving sideways like this at the highs, that's not what we do whenever we top off. We top off. We top off. We move down. We don't consolidate for 3 months and then we top off. That's not what happens. No, we've got a lot of growth to go. Absolutely, we do. We've got an astonishing amount of growth to go, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if this total chart saw a $20 trillion valuation whenever everything's said and done by the end of like maybe April or May 2026. That's the expectation. But I've got nothing else, guys. Hit the like button, subscribe. It all starts here. The finale phase is beginning. I can't wait to see what happens, man. I think it's going to be an interesting week and an interesting end of year with all the announcements that come out and all the price action that takes place with that. So that's all I got. Take care. Bye bye.